Shalom, Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, the prophets, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one, For My Soul is Full of Troubles. For my soul is full of troubles. Call halal, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Call halal, Yamla, Alahaya Nawa, Abanawa, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And, this will be straight to the point and something that's on my spirit, but as the title reads, for my soul is full of troubles. And this is particularly, ultimately to the elect, the true servants of the Lord. But, overall, man, for the so-called black Negro man and woman, and the so-called Latino, Hispanic man and woman, and Native American, so-called Native American Indian man and woman. But ultimately for the elect, man, the true servants of the Lord, it being hard, really, really hard in this, it's tough in this place, the U.S., the land of our captivity, and throughout the world, man. Things are speeding up, and a lot of changes are taking place. For the lower class, those of us that are below poverty line, including myself, and for the middle class, they're getting ready to totally, do away with the bottom in this beast system. You see Donald Trump, looking in the headlines just a little bit ago this morning, with him cutting down on that Department of Education here in the U.S. Mass layoffs are coming to that department, and it's going to be a whole different way of requirements and cuts to this education here in the U.S. And also with him slashing these student loans and rising the cost of tuition for college. It's and then you have the high cost of living already. You got major cuts that are coming, man. Major cuts. You got they're already starting to cut people on temporary housing. These different programs and things. There's major cuts coming, man. And this, we can't do this by ourselves, man. What the Lord is bringing on the left hand is just extremely overwhelming. We're worms, man. We are worms. We need the Lord, man. All the violence that's constantly going on. So it's just steady survival mode, and it's gonna get even harder. Because There's going to be a new way of living here in the U.S. Around the world, but ultimately in this place, the U.S. Because we are approaching that hour of temptation. What is spoken about the RFID, the micro C hip, which is spoken about in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Where no man can buy or sell unless you have that mark, which is the RFID, the micro C hip. Can't get no job, no home, unless you have that requirement, man. Let me go here. I got a couple scriptures and I'm gonna close out. But yeah, we're gonna need the Lord, man. We're gonna need the Lord. This new beast system that's being set up is gonna. If you are not together in the spirit with the Lord, He's gonna chew you up and spit you out. Survival mode every day. Spiritually, because the Lord told you He's sending us out as sheep in the midst of wolves, and we know sheep are harmless. Sheep are harmless, man, and wolves are predatory animals, and we know in this end right now, it's every man for himself. People ain't got no courtesy, no doing things out of moderation. People are just brute beasts. People get over on you, lie to you, just so they can get their piece of the pie. Ain't no good. Let me go to Romans. But this is the condition of the battle. Romans 8. People do all kind of stuff to you, man. Ultimately, starting with the leadership in this country. Let me go here. Romans 8. Call halal, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Romans 8 and 35, and it reads, it says, who shall separate us from the love of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI? Who shall separate us? It says, shall tribulation, or distress, these are the times that we're in, and it's only going to increase. It says, or persecution. Persecution is ramping up, and we know, Salakia. We see what they're doing right now, starting with the Northern Kingdom. Mass deportation. They said this year in 2025 already that over 50,000 so-called migrants have been detained. See, we know the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They're coming after you colored folks. They coming. It says, or persecution or famine, because we're approaching a physical famine and spiritual famine of hearing the words of the Lord, because the CDC is monitoring 7 different diseases right now here in the U.S. It could be even more, and that number represents completion. And these diseases are cleaving onto your food. See, onto your cattle, and you got that bird flu going on. See, so there's a physical famine coming in hearing the words of the Lord. It says, or nakedness, or pearl, or sword. It says 36. It says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. And this is to the elect, the hopeful elect, the true servants of the Lord, man. We're killed all the day long. Just on the things that we have to deal with and go through. It says, we are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. And we trying to, the real servants of the Lord are trying to do right, man. And the world is full of evil, darkness. And then you got the leaderships around the world. Ultimately, in this place, the U.S., they don't believe in the Lord, man. They don't believe in the Lord. You got the so-called Jewish, talking about Hanukkah, and they don't believe in the Lord, man. These people ain't following the Lord out here. It's about money and power. That's what this whole, in this world, this is what this is about. Money and power, greed. Period. And the real servants of the Lord are out for righteousness, man. Righteousness. Peace. So, in this time, matter of fact, let me go here. I'll close out with this. What is that? I'll close out with this. This is why we got to pray, man. You can look at King David's prayers. Even Jonah, when he was in the fishes or in the whale's stomach, his prayer, he was going through it. Job, these different prayers, man. Prayer is mandatory. You can't pray enough. There's no amount of prayer that can. It's unlimited. That we have to pray in this end. What is that? Salaki. What is that? Oh, James. That's what that is. James. Let me go here. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So in prayer, man, I'll close out with this. It says, James 5:13. James 5:13, and it reads, it says, is any among you afflicted? Is any among you afflicted? Is any among you going through hardship, trials, tribulation, tough times, pain, suffering? Is any among you that's going through that? Let them pray. Let him pray. See, in this end, you're going to be saved through your faith, man. You're not going to be saved by keeping the law 100%. You can't do it. We're doing the best to our ability to line our life up with the scriptures, but to believe. I believe. Let him pray. Let him sing psalms. Shalom.